Hi everybody, I'm Dusk. Welcome to Realm of the Sacred Roots. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. That way you'll know when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. I wanted to talk to you today about knowing your family history, knowing your roots if it's possible. I believe it would help explain why you're on a certain path and or why certain spirits come to you. And I wanted to give you a couple of examples because sometimes you don't get the full truth straight on. The old heads, as we call them, or our parents want to sometimes tell us the truth that they know or as they feel like is truth. And so that's what they want to pass on. So sometimes you have to do a little digging. For example, asking dad about his mother and father, the answer would be they're both Christians and they both went to church. And that was pretty much it. And so since they're both passed on, I pretty much would have to go with his word. Except I took my aunt out to lunch one day and she said, it's interesting. She said, Grandma, meaning her mother, my grandmother, just knew things. She was able to predict things and she was right. She would see, Dad told me she would see an apparition or she'd see ghosts at the end of the bed when people would pass on. She was able to see them. Those are things that seem like scraps that I was looking for so that I can add to my knowledge base to understand maybe more why I see spirits. Why do I see the dead? It kind of helped me know that she passed that down to me, my grandmother. Also, her history in Louisiana. She met a Creole friend there. She learned some of the ropes. My past life in Louisiana. Those things told me why the Loas, Bawon Samedi, and Maman Bridget would show up. Why was I working with them? Because I already had a rapport built with them. So these things will help you in your journey, in your walk, know why you're on a certain path possibly, and or why certain spirits come to you or are easier to work with in this lifetime because you most likely already have rapport with them from a previous life. On my mom's side, I'd ask my mom, who is from the islands, about her parents as well. And she would tell me that her mom would see spirits walking down the street, that her mom would see a head floating down the road with no body. And I look at her and I said, well, you wonder why I'm so strange, or you wonder why I'm the black sheep of the family. Because both of my grandparents, my grandmothers, were both gifted. I also wondered why the only Indian goddess, who was Kali, came to me. I didn't understand until I asked my uncle about what grandma was about. And he told me that she would go to the river and do her worship, light her incense with the other worshipers or people who gave alms to Kali. And I thought it was interesting because I never knew my grandmother actually spent time with Kali. And now it makes more sense to me why she shows up in my life because these are things that have been in your history, in your family for so long. So it starts to add up. It starts to make sense after a while when you put it into perspective. Um, you can also yes, looking at your past life will be able to give you some answers too. But right here, while you have family members that are still living, you can also ask them. And sometimes you won't get a straight answer. Sometimes you'll have to go to an uncle or an aunt, or if you have grandparents that are still alive, to ask them questions. It just makes sense. So I wanted to just present this to you guys today that while you're still blessed enough, lucky enough, to have family members who are still with us on this side ask them questions, especially when knowing, like my grandmothers, they both smoked, and I found out what brand of cigarettes one of my grandmothers smoked, and they still sell them today. That way, when you have your ancestor altar, you can put her favorite cigarettes on there, and little things like that, but they make a difference. um, they make a difference when you're honoring your ancestors, that you put that much time into it. What the whole moral of the story is do some digging, do some research. You might be surprised at what you will find in your history, um, once you take the time to look, and it will most likely provide answers to where you're at today and to why certain spirits are around you today. Now I understand why I see the dead, why I work with the dead. It explains angels to me, explains demons and other things, but it helps give you a broader context of where you're at. And so that's what we strive for, is more knowledge, and hopefully not to reinvent the wheel. And that's what I don't want to do, is reinvent the wheel. I want to get as much knowledge as I possibly can and then use that for my benefit. So hopefully this short video helped you out, gives you something to think about. Go ahead and ask some questions. Do a little investigation while you have some family that's here. You'll be surprised at what you find if you get a little creative and start asking around. Okay, please like, please subscribe if you like what you heard, and I'll be putting out more videos soon. Thank you.